So, hey! It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? So I am back and streaming, and the first thing in the new year is going to be something I picked up a couple days ago. This is, well, what it says on the screen is this Chinese Parents. It's, how can I put this? It's like if, when you were playing Princess Maker, when the girl turned 18 and you got your ending, she would give birth to a baby and then you would follow that baby. This is a... I think the term for it is generational raising sim? Because your early characters are basically guaranteed to fail. There's not really a whole lot you can do about that. But every time you go to a new generation, you get permanent bonuses that make it easier for the next one. And the permanent bonuses are actually really, really good. But I'll kind of get into that when we actually see how the game is played. So you can see I've got my a private one here, so I'm going to go ahead and make the stream one here. What should we name our dynasty, I guess? Because this is not the kid's surname. You have to actually input a surname as well, or it looks weird. This is sort of the name for the whole generational family tree. That's actually a good way to put it, Maverick. Only it doesn't suck like Reigns does. Well, Her Majesty was the one that sucked, but... The Shun Dynasty? I'm okay with that. Let's go with that. So, save file on Generation 1. You can see our family stats. We have Intelligence Quotient. I think that's meant to be Emotional Quotient. Constitution, Talent, Imagination, and Memory. These are the 5 main stats we'll be using. And this is not actually what the stat starts at. But how much you get per turn. Which, I'll talk about in a second. We don't want to skip the tutorial. Can you hear the game okay? It's kind of quiet in my headphones. Also, sorry if I sniffle, I've been kind of sick. Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them. And here is the start of the game, which I find adorable. So as a baby, we open our eyes and we see Mom, Granddad, and Grandma. But my favorite... Look at Dad! Look at Dad, he's so happy! That might just be you if Pi can hear it clearly. We'll see what Oreo says when they come in. We are actually a girl to start off with. So it randomizes whether you start as a girl or a boy. And this does significantly change a few things. But I'll get into that when we actually get there. So, there are no easy choices when it comes to growth, and the same goes for you. Let me show you. Growing up might be hard with Chinese parents. So here is that 5 we all started with. That's this. This is how much we get in the stat per turn. What happens is that when you go up, when you finish a generation, you inherit stats per turn. Like, you might get plus 5 IQ per turn, plus 2 Constitution per turn, plus 4 Memory, plus 3 Imagination. And so when you make a new baby, that all goes in. It makes the stats rising higher and higher easier. But to start with, we have expectations of, well, our parents have expectations of us, I think is a better way to put it. So your parents expect you to grow up healthy and able-bodied so as not to get sick so often. So that means that within 5 turns, we need to have 25 Constitution, which is not very hard. This is not going to stay. The requirements are going to get different. So every turn, we want to click on ourselves, and this brings up what is known as the mind map. What you do is you spend action, which is this little lightning bolt up here, to absorb specific fragments. When you absorb a fragment, every square that fragment is touching is revealed. And there's a bunch of different fragments. There are colored shape fragments which correspond to each of our 5 basic stats. Charm and Face do not have fragments. Right now we only have IQ and Constitution fragments, and there's literally nothing else we can do with the energy. So we're just going to go ahead and absorb as many Constitution fragments as we can. As you can see, we already have the healthy growth here. So we absorb all the fragments, and when you are completely out of energy, you can click the schedule. And this lets you set actions for what you want to do. And there we go, clicking it away. You have 6 slots per turn, and you can fill it up with study and entertainment. As you can see, being the fact that we are a tiny newborn baby, we don't really have much that we can do. You can list them by the recommended ones, what stat they give you the most of. That's not yet acquired is the trait thing. There are certain traits you get by practicing skills, and those traits can be used for some stuff later on. We're basically not going to be doing much with traits because our stats and our traits we have are just going to be too pitiful. Because it seems like your stats determine how likely it is a trait you get is rare, and you need the much rarer traits to be able to do anything with traits. Sorry, excuse me. So since we don't really have much else we can do, we're just going to do 3 crawling and 3 clap to the music. Dailies, as you can see here, you have, I think it's 9? Yeah, you have 9 events per turn. 6 of them are what you picked, and then there are 3 random events. So this is the first random, gurgle gurgle. You start making gurgle sounds and your parents both assume you're on the verge of talking. Ah, okay, as long as Oreo can see. Yeah, that dropped our IQ by 5, it dropped our EQ by 5, but it raised our imagination by 20. I have to click down here for it to go. Mom's baby. You learn how to say mommy. Not crying for attention will save you quite a bit of energy. That increases our imagination and constitution. And look at the little baby going mama. Just go ahead and relay whatever Oreo says if they're on their phone. Pour milk powder. Your cheapskate granny brought you knockoff milk powder. Drinking it makes you feel a bit sick. So our IQ, con, and charm all dropped. Crawl. Practice crawling. Look at the little baby. Oh, wait until you see Dad. Dad's the most adorable thing in this game. Also, there's this. A lot of these little images are very jokey. So, your parents play classical music and let you clap along with the music. That got us 5 action points, 2 imagination, and 2 charm. The entertainment is mostly to get your action points back and something a little later. Which again, I'll handle it when it comes up. Now, every turn depending on what skills you have, you get new skills that you can do. And we got a new expectation. They want us to be a clever child as well. And as it says here, you can actually, your mind map goes up by 1 naturally every turn. But you can find fragments which will let you go deeper into the mind map. And that's good, because that gives more bonuses. So just saying that you can learn something does not mean that you automatically know it. You have to learn it by using knowledge. The trick here is that the higher your stat, the lower knowledge you need to learn it. So if we raised our EQ, then these would go from max price to pretty cheap. It's one thing I want to check, yeah. So like I said, you can get traits from doing skills. For whatever reason, in the baby phase, it doesn't really pop something up when you learn a skill. The other phases seem to be fine, but this one not so much. So we got this one from crawling and this one from clap to the music. They're common, so they're not worth very much. But we have them. And we can name our little girl, so while I see what I can do with the mind map here, what should we call our little girl? And these are the knowledge fragments. These are what you click to get knowledge, which lets you get these things. You gotta kind of balance between getting IQ fragments and getting knowledge fragments. Ah, here is the enhanced fragment. This is what raises you up a mind map, but it also gives you 50 action back. Just note you cannot go over your maximum cap, so make sure you have 50 missing before you click this. So yeah, like I said, these all match the colors. So the green is IQ, red is EQ, blue is Constitution, yellow is Memory, and purple is Imagination. We gotta pick a surname too, so what should our surname be? I think I'm gonna grab knowledge fragments for the rest. And one more of that. Absorbing normal ones costs 10 energy. Or 10 action, so if you have under 10 action, you can't do anything with it. So let's pick up Walk. Oh, apparently we got the unhappy parents. I don't really know what controls it, but sometimes the parents are really happy and loving and sweet, and other times the parents are like complete terrors to each other. I don't really know what controls that, so we'll see how mom and dad are. So how about Bei Lan Ying? Oh yeah, it doesn't fit. Lan Yin, how about that? Also, we can click up here to look at ourselves. This is what personality traits we have. Mind Shadow is basically our mental health. If this turns completely black, our character goes insane. It says that the game is immediately over when that happens, so I don't know if that means that you're booted back to your last save, or if you just have to immediately have another baby. I don't understand. Recommendations here, it just tells you what you might need of the possible skills you have. This tells you about your friends, which is basically irrelevant. It'll say like that it is relevant to your ending, but that literally only changes like a sentence in your ending. Also, here's your family. Our dad is named Neighbor Wang. Okay. The profession is motorists. We get pocket money, 20 Chinese dollars a month, which is a turn, basically. And I don't know what this personality traits things mean. This is the default dad for your first generation. Every generation from there, this will have the information of the parent you last played. So if you are a girl like we are, then the next kid will have the mom, and if you're a boy, the next kid will have the dad. Also, family tree shows the last 50 that you played. There's none here for the Shun Dynasty. So we can't do anything else, so let's move on. So if I put not yet acquired, this shows me the traits I don't have yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick to this. I'll be a bit more choosy when we actually have options. Look at that little image! Look at the little baby! Also, yes, that is Dad with us. A relative holds a birthday party with many friends attending, none of which you know, which ruined our memory. We're fighting with a kid over an Impmon toy, which I'd fight for an Impmon toy. Popular toys often cause strife among children, but they also get outdated ridiculously soon. For some reason, this is actually really good, because you get IQ and EQ from it. Daily. In-laws arguing. Mom and Grandma are arguing as to whether you should be using diapers or paper diapers. And we lost some of the IQ and EQ we gained from that. And more music clapping. We can now somersault. Okay, I think I actually understand. I think if you're a girl, the parents are incredibly rude to each other, and if you're a boy, they're very happy, which is unfortunate implications, but this game tries to be kind of true to life from what I understand, so, yeah. Oh yeah, expectations. The expectations will very often give you energy. Not always, but very often. So make sure you've used up some of your energy before you grab them. Also, these are special. They cost 5 more action, but they add to how many you get per turn. Like if we picked up this memory, we go from 5 to 6 per turn. And this is permanent. One thing I've heard people try to do is get as many of those early on, because while you're a baby, it's still really easy to do stuff. Which I think I'm gonna try to do and see if that helps out. Whatever we actually do, we're going to be a miserable failure. So grab that. That did not give us any action this time, but it did give us some EQ and Constitution. I'll probably knowledge one. So we can do we can pick up somersaults and learn to speak. That baby girl called me mommy. She's gonna definitely like me better. This I find kind of cute. I picked up somersault. That's the other reason you want to learn skills, is even if you don't ever use the skill, it gives you stats, and it will boost something we'll get into a little later. So let's see. We don't have the thing for walk yet, so we're going to go ahead and stick with... You know, we'll go ahead and add somersault and learn to speak in there. Now, amazings give you more action back, or action back at all, like in this case. I think everything gives you a bit of action when you use it, but these give you a bunch. Oh, look at the little somersault! You start crying whenever you're criticized, and your family shares this with everyone. Ugh! Also, you can say whether or not you've had a similar experience to things like that, which is interesting, but it just says how many other people feel the same. For some reason, that boosted a lot of our stats, though. You grab a small box which you refuse to part with. Mom feels embarrassed and puts it back. Dad comes home. Dad comes home late every night, but always kisses you on the forehead, which often wakes you up. Yeah, I think it's a humidifier. We've got a bunch of, like, pillows and stuffed toys, but I'm pretty sure this is a humidifier. This is just telling you what I told you, is that your stat determines whether or not... or determines what the price is. So let's see if we can boost our EQ up some and make that affordable. Fantasy Fragments, like it said, gives you a completely random thing for 10 action. I don't really find them worth using, but if they're in the way, I'll pick them up. But you can see at this low level, every fragment we get significantly drops the price of that. Oh yeah, I don't have enough for that. So we have a choice. The exclamation point shows? Oh, down here. These are events that will happen every so often. You have to clear the event before it will let you go to the schedule. Like, it literally will not even let you pull it up until this is finished. So our choice. Mom puts you in front of the mirror. This is the first time you see yourself, and that's when you decide to... Let's just wave to the mirror. You sense kindness in the world, and we get an emotional quoting for that, which is cute. Oh yeah, did we actually learn any of the traits? We have not learned any traits yet, so we'll go ahead and stick with what we're doing. Slow learners. During gymnastics, a girl's dad complains she's not a boy and learns too slowly. And our IQ dropped for that, as it very well should have. They place a dictionary, an abacus, and a toy on a bed, and Mom tells you to pick the dictionary. Most of the children always play together, but you think the lone kid is the coolest. Having Constitution is good because you can get sick later, and it's irritating. Wow, I've actually not had a... Normally everything I do, I get one of those traits immediately. These are my favorite fragments. Eureka fragments cost 5 more, but everything that is touching them is given to you. So look at that. And that gave us 1 imagination per turn, which isn't bad. Go ahead and learn Be Friendly. Mom gave you a box of chocolates to share with your classmates. Because of your actions, your classmates all really like you. You understand the world a little better. Let's go back to just kind of grabbing random fragments. We don't have enough energy for that. Let's grab another knowledge. Yeah, it's, I don't know. That kinda happens. Like, you could still theoretically do some baby stuff while you're a teen? I don't really understand. I don't think we'll be able to match that IQ one. That happens sometimes. So, what's this new one? Seesaw. So we'll get rid of these and grab some seesaws. We sure are an advanced baby. Oh, look at us in the little bear costume. So we're 3 years old now, so we go to college. No self-control. Your parents own you, and consequently you don't really learn how to sit or stand properly. This is just completely random. Like, this has... Did I say college? I meant I don't know where we are. Kindergarten? Preschool? Something like that. Mom tells you, expensive candy is bad for your health and isn't something we'll ever buy. Well, maybe if we were Merlin, we'd be going to college when they're 3 years old, considering he apparently ages backwards. Favorite food. You begin getting picky with your food and your mood changes depending on what food you get. You like playing on the seesaw by yourself, that's mostly because Dad is too busy. Also, we are apparently a big girl. If two smaller kids can't even push us down on the seesaw. Yeah, we ran out of time for that. Painting class and mood management, both of which are massively out of our reach right now. So here's the face system. I don't really know what it does. I assume it's gotta have some impact on you somehow, but I have not seen how. Mostly it's only for requests, which I'll show when that comes up. So apparently Mom and Dad want us to go into dancing. That should be fairly doable. This is the worst mind map. I hate this mind map so much. Oh, there's the way up. Let's go ahead and grab these before we do that. You want to take that up as soon as possible because of the fact that the bonuses on the higher mind maps are so good. Just need to pick some reds. Should I go for red or blue? Do we want to work on mood management or go into painting class? Ooh, I can actually just barely expose that. Yeah, forget being able to control our emotions. That's for sissies. Ooh, and I don't have any way to regain action yet, so... So here's the reason why you want to learn traits, and here's the reason why we won't be doing much with them. You have to duel with the traits you get. We got so unlucky we didn't get anything this time. And there are actually difficult face duels in the game, which we're not even going to be able to touch. We need to do 5 turns. We can only do this once per... only use one of these the entire time. Like, all we can do is pick helpless until the fight ends. So Mom's gonna get kinda... steamrollered here. Thankfully, you don't really lose anything from losing. It seems to be fairly irrelevant. So there is that. Also, we're in 3-color kindergarten. So if we want to go into painting, we need to do stuff that boosts our imagination. which is none right now. So let's go with learn to speak, be friendly, and seesaw. Dealey, older and younger classes. You look at your upperclassmen and think they are all very tall, making you feel afraid and weak. That baby doesn't look very afraid. Your cousin comes over to play and your mom gives her a toy which you haven't used for ages. Which dropped our EQ and charm. Starting kindergarten. When you see all the children at kindergarten, you feel as if you're just a tiny existence. Aw, look at the little kids. Looked like it was smiling to me. And now that we're actually out of babies, we will get the trait pop-up, so we have a seesaw trait. And this is unlocking the request system. This will get us some, this will always get us some new entertainment we can use. These tend to be the best entertainment that you can get in the section. And you have to have a certain amount of face to get them. This is really the only thing I know of right now that you can use face for. Also, these success rates never change, which is incredibly irritating. But there's not really much you can do about that. Here is where we can actually get some action back when we absorb those. I'm also looking for purple fragments to try to make that painting class possible. Because we have now got enough imagination that we're starting to make that affordable. We're gonna go ahead and grab Baby Yoga for the charm. So this is a little test thing. This doesn't really matter much right now. It's basically just free knowledge. We have a request. We do not have enough face to do any of these requests though, so that will have to wait until later. Let's see. Still nothing gives imagination, so we'll just stick to this. We want to be very eloquent speaker. You try to dress up like a movie star with a quilt, your mom's scarf, and her makeup. Aw. You begin noticing how children with similar toys stick together. Ah, friendship circles. Dance genius. You move with the music and mom thinks you're a dance genius. She begins planning your future. Well, she kind of already was. Since she wants us to learn ballet. We already had the spring outing trait. You've been doing the spring outings ever since the school first began arranging them. So our parents want us to go to a key elementary school. We'll see if we can actually do that. So the satisfaction, stress, or the meters you have to balance. If the satisfaction maxes out, you get a request and a bonus. If the stress maxes out, you get a penalty and you get some mind shadow. Maxing out satisfaction can remove some of your mind shadow, and bottoming out your stress can remove mind shadow and give you some bonuses as well. But if satisfaction bottoms out, then you get punished, which adds mind shadow and penalties. So basically, you want to keep satisfaction as high as possible and stress as low as possible. And this is where entertainment comes in, because entertainment's the only way we have right now to get rid of our stress. Let's ask for the community slide. We got it! So our expectation is we need an EQ of 500, which might be doable. We need to learn ballet, which I don't know. I don't know. The problem with skills is that all of them are in trees. You have to unlock them in trees, and I don't really know what skill is where. I think ballet is an ordinary, so we'd want to... That was not it. We want to maybe use baby yoga and see if we can get that to work. I'm not really sure. I like the idea that traits are in sort of nestled order, but they're not always as intuitive as it seems like they should be. Yeah, right now I'm just burning enough action that I don't waste the action when I go up. Oh, let's know those Eureka fragments can actually chain. If a Eureka fragment reveals another Eureka fragment, that one will also go off and hit everything around it. This is seriously the worst mind map, I swear. I'll just grab that last bit. So we wanted painting, so we're gonna be an artist, and I will, for at least now, prioritize the art skills, but if we suddenly decide we want to do something else, let me know and I will change it. So let's do one of Pinion, one of that, one of Baby Yoga. This is actually one of the best relievers in the entire game, believe it or not, because it drops your stress by 10 and doesn't drop satisfaction at all. I don't think there's any better one than that. Also, I tend to structure them like this because of the random events. That pretty much ensures that having a stress breakdown is unlikely. At least for now. And when this happens, and you see that glow, that means that satisfaction has been maxed out. When you max something out, the bar drops back down to half. I don't fully get how it works, but just go with it. Mom often gives you new nicknames. Little Beauty, Cutie, Ugly Kid, and You Little Rascal. Wow. Rude, Mom. You tell the teacher your water cup is missing, but she thinks you just want a new one. Mom cuts the queue at the shop, but your words of justice send her the back instead. Ha ha ha! She got called out by a 5-year-old. I don't know why, but this just amuses me. Baby Yoga's cute.